and Strzok and the Walkaway team with a very special presentation for you all that we're calling What's Next for Walkaway? The question that we asked ourselves on a daily basis this entire last year while we questioned, will we or won't we be going to prison?
It's a royal we.
It's the royal we. I think we decided we're not going to prison, are we, you guys? Libby? She's not sure.
No, I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to go to prison, but anything could change at any moment. But my conscience is clear.
Yeah. Well, all right. This isn't a matter of whose conscience is clear or who's not. But the truth is we had a very, very tough year. And so we decided to make the best use of this time. And there's so many things we want to go through and talk with you guys about. Also, tonight, we're going to do kind of a State of the Union recap. And I'm not exactly sure where we're going to start, if we're starting with that, or we should probably start with the State of the Union recap. But what we want to go through with you guys tonight is a little bit about what we went through as an organization over the last year, steps that we took to fix a lot of the things that were done to us. And these are really a lot of things that we want to present, not just to the conservative movement, but I think that to any freedom-loving Americans. This is kind of the whole thing is, we were what I would say that we're the victims of mass cancel culture. And we had to kind of make a decision. Are we going to, pack up our bags and call it quits, or are we going to move forward? And we decided, of course, we're going to charge on and move forward. So in addition to coming up with incredible solutions for a lot of the things that were shut down and taken away from us, which we're going to share with you guys tonight, we also decided to create a plan to save this country from whatever if you want to call it a leftist takeover, if you want to call it a socialist takeover, a communist takeover, a Marxist takeover, a radical progressive takeover, tyranny. They're all synonyms for tyranny, and they're all here right now in our country as we speak. But Walkaway has got your back. We've got a plan because we don't quit. So stick with us tonight because we're going to talk to you about Walkaway's plan to save America. And with that, why don't we do introductions? Because our audience probably doesn't even know who everybody is.
What?
Well, no, they're about to learn. They're about to learn.
Go ahead, Damien. You're top right. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm top right on it. Okay, so hi everybody. For those who haven't already seen myself taking over a little bit with Libby for Brandon's Lives whilst he was going for his legal case, I am Damien Jarrett. I am the advocacy director of the Walkaway Campaign PAC. Today, we will obviously, on top of going over the State of the Union, we'll be focusing pretty heavily on what we've been doing with the Walkaway Campaign PAC. You haven't had a lot of experience with that yet because even though it has been around a couple of years, it hasn't officially launched. So we're going to be previewing what's to come this year in the midterms with the Walkaway Campaign Political Action Committee. And I'll be letting you know what we've been doing for the last year or so.
Thanks, Damien.
Hey, everybody. I'm Libby Albert. I am the executive director of Walkaway, but tonight I am here in an unofficial capacity. I am here as just plain old Libby Albert with an opinion. So it's nice to see you all. Hopefully you know who I am by now, but it's possible. I've been pretty scarce for the last year, so.
Tonight, you are a political spokesmodel.
Can I be a pundit? I always wanted to be a pundit. Oh, spokesmodel's not bad either.
Let's just not call you an influencer. I hate that word.
So. Oh, royalty. Can we call royalty something, princess?
Yes. Okay. Queen Libby, spokesmodel, political spokesmodel. And who is this lovely little peach over here in the corner?
Hello, guys. I'm Nick Miles. I am the the event coordinator here at Walkaway, also known as the person who just saves Brandon's life all the time.
That's true.
Yeah. Hello. And not to be confused with the fake Nick Miles. He's always got that real in his handle, so that you know it's really him.
Yeah, you really should be verified, Nick, so that people, so that it's official.
Exactly.
We should start
it. That Jack Dorsey verified.
Because you have so many imitators.
Exactly.
So, guys, where do we want to start?
Oh, I got things. I mean, we're starting with the State of the Union, right? I mean,
we are. Can I ask just really quickly? So, guys, I got thrown a little curveball tonight because we had planned on going live right at 8 o'clock. You may have noticed we're a few minutes late. We apologize. I ended Oh,
Eastern.
sorry, I'm in a different time zone. My bad. I'm sorry. 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central, 6 o'clock Pacific. I ended up going on Stinchfield show tonight on Newsmax, so we started a little bit late, and I also didn't get a chance to ask the question. Nick, did you load clips tonight for State of the Union? Are we doing clips?
Unfortunately not, because we had that echo issue going on. So we
I
cannot
see.
do any
Well, that's
clips.
okay. We have plenty to talk about. I just didn't know if we were talking about clips. All right, Libby, please.
Well, look, I just want to start with what is probably obvious, but also the most infuriating part of the State of the Union was it was 1.5 hours of gaslighting. I mean, no, it was like, it was like
Sounds like every
everything that
date I've ever gone on.
have said that Democrats have done, they pretended like they had never done. Like, it was bizarre. It was incredibly frustrating for me to watch. So let's start there.
Might you be referring to the moment where they all stood and applauded for funding the police?
Oh, yeah, but let's talk about how disingenuous that is too. It's funding the police for tools and resources, which all lead back to community programs. I mean, that is the biggest load of bullshit I've ever heard in my life. And they talk about hiring police officers. Okay, sure. Hire them to do what? Community policing, or, getting people into health program. I mean, what
hand out crack pipes. Hand
yeah,
out crack
well,
pipes. Yeah.
That's one way to cut down on crime, is to not make it illegal, right?
Well, exactly.
That's such a good point.
I think it took about 20 to 30 minutes for me to realize we were actually listening to the State of the Union and not the State of the Ukraine. I really felt that, he seized on a really good opportunity to try and deflect from a lot of the crap that's going on by really kind of saber rattling over the Ukraine situation, completely ignoring the fact that he's the reason that we got here, right? Famously, no one invaded anybody in 4 years under Donald Trump. He went into Georgia under Bush. He went into Crimea under the Obama-Biden administration, and now Biden's back in power, and he's going back into he's gone all the way into Ukraine now, and it really is because of his weakening of our position on the world stage, and it all comes down to giving him back Nord Stream 2. He took credit for during this. He's taken credit over the last week for taking that away, but it's like, you gave it to him. We already took it away from him under Trump. He gave it to him. He gave him their pipeline. He annexed our pipeline completely, nixed it. The Keystone pipeline was wiped out. And we lost our energy independence, and that's given Putin all the tools that he needs to do what he's doing.
100%.
What the hell are we celebrating in the first place, though? Like, what kind of bang up job has he done with Ukraine that we're like, hooray, this was well done, Joe? What is it?
As someone from the Biden state, unfortunately, who lives in Delaware, only a few miles away from where his home is, it's the clown in chief. That's who we have in office right now. And Putin and the rest of the world sees us as clowns. That's what exactly they see us. When Trump was in office, was very well respected. We had no issues. And now that they see Biden's in there, they're just going to try and shit all over America.
And what we're seeing is, you've seen, because of coronavirus and the turmoil the world's being thrown in, we're seeing the Democrats on the domestic stage take this opportunity to shift the country ideologically, socially, on a whole new scale with this culture war and this class war that they've imposed on us. But what we're seeing ultimately is Putin, China are going to be doing the same thing. It's going to be Taiwan next. They're going to be seizing on this opportunity after a virus that China unleashed on this world. When you see all these opportunities they're taking, you do start to question, was there, why did they cover it up deliberately? Is there a reason for that? And they're using this to shift the geopolitical climate. And obviously, when you have Biden in charge, the clown in chief, as Nick put it, it doesn't give you any confidence that we're going to come out on top.
David, can I stop you for a second? Hey, Libby, I'm not sure what's going on, but it sounds like you're picking up everyone else's sound in spaces, and they're getting a huge, horrible echo, which is probably why our audience is teeny tiny in there.
Sorry. I just muted myself, but I don't. Oh, here. I guess I can.
Do you have your headset plugged into your phone?
Here, I got an idea.
So for you guys tuning in right now, just to let you know, we're attempting to simulcast right now on all social media, and we're also broadcasting to Twitter Spaces, which it's a lot to take on in one bite, but we're doing our best. Do you feel like you? Nope, I still see me coming through your sound.
Really? I mean, I have my sound off on my computer.
Yeah, really. So give us if you want to check out Twitter Spaces, we're on there. I'm not sure if we're having a sound issue. But if not, you can catch us streaming right now.
Everything sounds normal for me.
Yeah, I think it's good. I can only see who's speaking coming through.
Okay, good. Me too. Sounds normal now.
Okay.
All right. Sorry, Damien, you were saying.
Oh, I can't remember what I was saying now, but we have no confidence. A geopolitical shift. After coronavirus, we're seeing a domestic shift. They've seized the opportunity to enact radical social change in America. Well, they're doing the same thing in the Far East. Russia, China. We're going to see it in the Middle East with Iran. They're going to seize on this to really shift the momentum of the world geopolitically on the back end of this virus as we recover.
Go ahead.
I didn't want to talk over you. One of the things I really appreciate about Damien is that, I think that he can dive a little bit further than the average person into these issues and have intellectual debate about it. What I firmly believe, though, is that the average, moderate Democrat is not on the same page as you. They are not, digging deeper into the political ramifications or the social ramifications of these, policies that he's enacting. I think he comes across as moderate. I think that this was a campaign speech for the most part. I think there was a point where I was like, has he covered everyone? I mean, he covered addicts, immigrants, police officers, LGBTQ plus, trans, women. Like, it was like check. Like, let me make sure I reach out to every marginalized group of people.
Bingo.
Like, what's that?
Leftist bingo.
Did anyone pay the bingo game that Donald Trump Jr. put out? He put out a bingo game. I wasn't playing it myself, but it was. I saw a few people playing along with a bingo board that was put out with all his favorite sayings, and that was entertaining.
I did not.
Damien,
Damien, what did you think about Biden's comments on Afghanistan?
I think the biggest, most glaring thing when it came to his comments on Afghanistan,
It was a trick question.
There wasn't any? Oh, well, I was going to talk about, there wasn't.
He didn't mention
it. I don't remember that.
Oh, no. Well, I was going to raise, on the topic of Afghanistan,
he just forgot to bring that up.
Yeah, but that's why I was going to raise about the fact that he didn't bring up the 13, Lauren Boebert, awesome how she stepped up and said, while he was on the topic of veterans, he didn't talk once about the 13 servicemen and women that were killed as a result of his botched Afghanistan withdrawal. Another thing that Putin saw and is why he's seizing on this moment right now. And then Jen Psaki came out today and said he didn't have time. I mean, that was just an even bigger spit in the face to the families of those servicemen and women, that he didn't have time in this entire speech. He's the president. He can talk as long as he wants to talk on the State of the Union.
He had time to talk about trans people. I mean, that he had time for that, but
without actually saying anything about trans people.
He was actually called out by Lauren Boebert on the 13, and he instantly shifted into talking about his son.
His son,
which is what he's done over and over again.
Yep, Beau Biden, whose son is he used to be the attorney general for our state. He did not die in war. I honor and respect the man for going overseas and fighting. But he was 100 miles outside of a war zone because he was the current vice president's son. So he's not going to be put on the battle line. Second, he didn't die because of issues that happened in war. I don't know. I was very angry that he did not talk about the 13 soldiers, the blood that's on his hands, because he refused to pull out one.
He pulled out Beau every time.
Somebody in the comments is saying, did you guys see the outrageous lie trending on Reddit? Boebert heckles Biden while he honors servicemen. Outrageous.
I did see that. Yeah, which he like I say, and some people were saying it was distasteful because he was talking about his son Beau, but like you said, Brandon, it wasn't until after she said it that he then went into his son Beau, which, again, as Libby just said, it's his default. if he wants you to feel sorry for it, look, and I do, I don't want to ever any parent that buries a child, no parent should bury a child. I feel terrible for him that he had to do that, but he cannot keep dropping his son every single time he needs to, stop criticism of him or try and deflect. He can't do it. It's actually, it's beginning tiresome.
Well, and it comes across as very uncompassionate and self-centered, and very unfeeling and uncaring. I mean, military families have brought this up numerous times. This is not the first time this has been brought up, that military families have said, it would have been nice if he had talked about my child who died a little more than he talked about his own.
That didn't die in conflict.
I have I had a moment last night. So I posted a video. I don't know if you guys saw it. I posted it on all my socials. It was perhaps my favorite moment from the entire State of the Union, where now first I want to preface this by saying, because I really want to set the table here. I am one of the few people who does not talk about him being mentally incompetent. Like, I never say that. And the reason why is because they did that to Trump. And so for 4 years, I had to hear about how Trump was mentally ill. He was mentally deranged, that he needed to be psychologically tested. And then they would always base it off of some like CNN soundbite where they would grab like 3 minutes of one of his speeches where he accidentally said the wrong word. And they'd be like, oh my God, he's got Alzheimer's. And so I want to be a better person than that. And I want to not do that in reverse. And I do not believe that Joe Biden is as dementia riddled as a lot of people on the right say that he is. He's old. He's old and he's slow.
Yeah, he's slow.
Now that I've set the table, there was a moment where this dude didn't make a damn bit of sense. Well, first of all, he was like praising the idea of building a wall. Did you guys see this?
Yeah.
So he's
I've
got
a list of gaps that I like. He couldn't get through a sentence. Let's be real. I mean,
but he said, you can't build a wall high enough to keep the vaccines. The vaccines are gonna. I mean, he was so lost. But my favorite part. So I showed that in my video, and then I backed up and I zoomed my camera in right on Nancy Pelosi's face. She was chewing her lips so hard. I thought she was gonna break her jaw. She was like,
her teeth were gonna fall out.
Yeah. There was a moment too where Kamala looked real like
several.
She's like, I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, she was just like, thank God I'm really the president. That was the look.
And you could see, and she had to mouth like when he was talking about Ukraine. I don't think he specifically said like Iranian. I think he said Uranian. Like when he was trying to talk about Ukrainian, and you could see her in the background miming. You could see her under her breath go, Ukrainian. Like it's like you could see like imagine married. Imagine I almost feel sorry for Jill Biden.
It's like the video I posted on my TikTok with the guy doing the impression. He's like, Russia's moved their tanks into the Ukrainians, and we've placed some sanctimoniums on them. Like that. Like that's Biden to a T.
Yeah,
I'm surprised they didn't talk about his hairy legs.
I noticed that when the State of the Union was over, I tuned into both CNN and MSNBC to see what their commentary was on it. And all they were focusing on was Russia and Ukraine and patting themselves on the back about what an amazing job he did handling that topic and saying that it was this incredibly unifying moment that, and there's this one woman on MSNBC who she said, she was like, when is the last time that you saw both sides of the aisle stand up and give a standing ovation for the president? And she said, it certainly didn't happen in the last 4 years. And I was like, well, that's because you guys are assholes.
Right.
Like, you literally didn't clap.
Not because Joe's great.
Like you had the president of the United States citing record black unemployment and not a single Democrat
funding HBCUs. Yeah.
Yep.
Not a single Democrat clapped that. And plus, you're obviously going to clap. The ambassador of Ukraine was in the building, right? I mean, it's got nothing to do with Biden. It's got everything to do with wanting to support Ukraine. And why do we need to support Ukraine? Because he got us in this mess. And again, he deflected on that. I mean, and he repeated a lot of lies. I mean, he lied about the Trump tax return, the Trump tax reform bill, which the IRS has already come out and clearly stated it impacted everyday Americans across the spectrum in terms of pay. It affected lower, middle, and like upper middle class families, and the IRS have confirmed this. And yet he repeats the lie that this was a tax break for the wealthy, for the corporations, and he repeated that lie despite that even the Washington Post in the past has given gave free Pinocchios for. So the Washington Post discredited this claim months ago, and he's still making this claim in the State of the Union.
If I could take just a real quick second to tell everyone watching right now, whether you're watching on YouTube, Rumble, Getter, Twitter, Facebook, or if you're listening to us now in Twitter Spaces, share this video and tell all your friends to join us for this conversation. We're recapping the State of the Union right now. In just a few moments, we'll start talking about Walkaway's plan to save America and what's coming up next for Walkaway. But please hit that share button. And if you're not currently already following and subscribing to us, do so right now, please. For those of you on Twitter Spaces, we hope you're enjoying the conversation. Hit retweet and tell all of your followers and your audience to join us in the space. Let's get as many people listening and watching as we possibly can.
Absolutely. Can we talk about? One of you touched on this. I think it was you, Brandon, talking about MSNBC, like really trying to prop up this idea of how unifying this message was. And even Joe Biden brought this up in his speech, talking about how we really need to come together as fellow Americans and not as Republicans and Democrats. And I wanted to vomit. I mean, there has been nothing unifying about this administration. I mean, even in this speech, he took several jabs at Americans. I mean,
and Trump, talking about, the deer wearing Kevlar vests. Yeah. Yes.
And the gaslighting with we can't defund the police. And then everybody roars like, yeah, see, we've always been right about that. Bullshit. Yeah. I call bullshit.
How Black Lives Matter feels about him last night.
Oh, Cori Bush actually she was not happy. She came out and said she was not happy about the Fun Police comments. And that Second Amendment thing was the deer comment was ridiculous. The Second Amendment isn't about hunting. It's not about hunting deer. The Second Amendment is designed for the exact reason of like what we're seeing in Ukraine now, right? We're seeing some pretty awesome scenes in Kyiv right now in Ukraine, right? At least 20,000 citizens, I think it is now, have been armed. The problem is with Ukraine, who has some of the more by European standards, their gun laws are pretty lax. The unfortunate thing about Ukraine is at the time of the Russian invasion, despite having laxer gun laws, they only had like 1.5 million guns in circulation. Well, that doesn't help you when Russia come knocking on your door and you need to stand up. They're scrambling to get enough weapons to arm the civilian population. In America, there are more guns than there are civilians. And if anyone ever tried to invade America, we'd be picking our guns up straight away with the ammunition that we have right here. So, that is what the Second Amendment is about. That is what the Second Amendment is about. But it also shows you how
out of touch Joe Biden and his administration are, because he thinks that this is the big conservative talking point. We need our ARs because they're good for hunting. We need our ARs because we can have our fucking ARs. So back up. Sorry.
For him to say
the language.
A lot.
He called for more background checks because he stated we need to make sure we keep guns out of the hands of people who are on terrorist watch lists.
Well, sure.
Well, anyone who's known to buy a gun, if you've ever purchased a firearm, you would know that you have to go through a background check. I've actually been on the other side of running the background check for someone else. And it tells you right there, if they're on any type of list after the background check is ran, you can't get a gun if you are on a terrorist watch list.
And the fact that
the president of the United States does not know that is mind-boggling.
And what was worrying Brandon, Brandon, to cut you off, on that topic of terrorist watch lists, we know what they define as domestic terrorists, teachers in school board meetings, and even,
I'm trying to whistle.
Sorry.
No. You were talking about domestic terrorists. Sorry.
Oh, so no, and I was actually going to say, Brandon, you were on a list. You've been put on lists. You have for standing on the steps of the Capitol and pleading to a Class B misdemeanor. So when you give the federal government, I don't trust what their definition of a terrorist is anymore, because they're literally, like say, parents in school board meetings. So what's to say they don't come after, that it isn't designed to come after people like us?
Well,
and in this state,
Sorry, Nick. I kind of give them the benefit of the doubt. I mean, I agree with you. After what Brandon's been through, I think it's prudent to question those things. But what bothers me is that they're still using language like we need to ban assault weapons. Like these are not assault weapons. No. High capacity magazines. Like, look, if somebody wants to kill somebody, they're going to do it with 10 bullets.
Hell yeah.
Or, 3 mags of 10 bullets, or like it doesn't matter if it's a high capacity, like it's not the gun's fault. It's not the ammo's fault. It's the person's fault. We need to, go to the source. And so, it's that divisive language. Once again, it's the condescension to, the sect of Americans that believe in our Second Amendment and our gun owners, responsible gun owners. There's just several instances like this that really, really rubbed me the wrong way.
Well, what's interesting is, so here in Delaware, we have a big issue with our activist general, the Attorney General, Kathleen Jennings. And it's funny that Biden doesn't call her out, because he talks about keeping guns out of the hands of people who shouldn't have it. Meanwhile, in the state of Delaware, we had about 1,200 person prohibited cases, and person prohibited cases are people who cannot have a firearm because they're either a felon, a murderer, etc. And so we had 821 of those cases dropped, gun charges dropped, the person prohibited. If they can't have the gun and you're charging them with person prohibited, and then you choose to drop that charge, what does that say? We're not tough on crime when it comes to that. And the fact that he called this out on a national level but can't focus on it or say anything in his own state, in which he's been a senator in local state as well as federal, is ridiculous.
Well, let's talk about his son as well. I mean, we all know that his son lied on his form and said, "I have never been a drug addict," and which is a crime. It is a felony to lie on that form when you're applying to buy a firearm. I have to answer the same questions when I do mine. If I lie, it's a felony. I would go to prison. Why isn't Hunter Biden in prison? Why isn't Joe Biden's son, who lied on his form, not in prison? And that gun, remember, was found in a trash can yards away from a school. I mean, that is ridiculous. And so Joe Biden can't talk to us about gun safety and gun control. Like, he has no credibility on this issue, just like he has on anything else.
Did you guys catch, I mean, just to switch speeds a little bit, did you guys catch how, his solution to immigration is to help South America secure its own borders? Like that was his big solution. Oh, and we're putting in scanners at the border so that we can catch, people that are trying to smuggle drugs. Like, we don't care about the people trying to enter illegally. Like, they can come in, which is not coming through the scanners, mind you.
The drugs we catch come through the checkpoints, right? The drugs we catch come through the checkpoints. The drugs we don't catch are the ones coming over the border wall-less areas that have no security. And that's where these opioids... Exactly. And he referenced the opioid crisis. And it's he has no credibility. The Democrats have no credibility. We have nearly 1 million dead Americans this century at the hands of opioids. It's more than 70% of that comes from the Mexican border. They by facilitating this open border policy, they are killing Americans, and they have more blood of American people on their hands. And he literally, I mean, if he wants to talk about the opioid crisis, he's got to talk about a border wall. It has to happen.
Well, okay, so but that's to Libby earlier with gaslighting, right? As the fun police comment that brought all Democrats out of their seats.
Yay!
They were also out of their seats going crazy, talking about funding the border, and strong border. And I was just like, "What is this backwards land?" Like, I don't
exactly what it was. That was exactly what it was like. It was like, what? No, you don't get to claim victory over these things that you have been against and have done nothing about. Like, it was.
I was waiting for Biden to start saying, "Let's make it great again." I was just like, "Oh, okay."
There was a lot of Trump policy in this. There was a lot of Trump policy.
Oh, and how about the fact that this really upset me. I'd be very curious if anybody watching or listening on Spaces can tweet at me or whatever and tell me if this bothered you too. But he's talking about rebuilding America and bringing industry and jobs back to America, and he keeps saying we're going to buy America. Now, I believe he meant we're going to buy American, but it really bothered me that he kept saying we're going to buy America. And then what further bothered me was that he had absolutely no plan. What are we buying in America? What industries are we bringing back to America? The only thing he pointed to was this guy from Intel that's going to open up a plant in Ohio, which is going to bring 10,000 jobs. Great. Love the sound of that. But I'm sure, you know, Intel is probably, or this CEO is probably a big donor. You know, that's great. But what else? Like, what else is the big plan? 10,000 jobs ain't going to cut it.
Hey,
so
guys,
what?
I'm sorry.
What's the plan?
I'm getting feedback that my audio and video is bad. If I leave the stream and come back, is that going to screw anything up?
Yeah, you're the host, I think.
I'm the host?
Are you?
Oh, yeah, Brandon, I can't hear you.
I can hear him.
You can hear him?
Yeah.
Yeah, he sounds good to me.
Oh, sorry.
Hey guys, in the chat, those of you watching the stream, do I have bad audio and video? Can someone else ask in case my audio is bad?
You're good now. I can hear you fine. Oh, it says audio is bad, but your video is okay.
So what should I do?
I think you're okay right now. I think it might have just been a...
Yeah, just keep going. You're good.
Yeah.
Can we talk about his comments on saying, lower your cost, not your wages?
Yeah.
That's how you fix inflation.
How do you lower your costs when inflation is out of control?
And that's,
not,
yeah.
I mean, I agree with him. Lower your costs instead of your wages. I mean, sure, that sounds like a great idea. How do you do that? How do you do
100%. And it was his American Rescue. Yeah, it's his American Rescue package that contributed to that too. He cited that as an achievement, but during this State of the Union, the American Rescue package was completely unnecessary. It came at a time we needed to open back up. He and his Democrat colleagues across the country kept us stifled, and his injection of cash that wasn't needed really made things worse in terms of inflation. And obviously,
it's a huge factor.
It was a massive factor. And it just drives me insane hearing him. And again, this is all part of, and we're not just seeing a culture war, we're kind of seeing a class war get driven as well, right? The rich don't pay their fair share, apparently, right? Trickle-down economics doesn't work, is what they're saying, right? Well, I deal with retailers every single day. My full-time job, I'm a freight forwarder. I do international shipping and logistics. And what people don't understand is, right, our profits are soaring high right now because we're actually, these importers are paying, instead of paying $5,000 for a container from China into the East Coast of America, they're paying $20,000, right? So obviously I'm not making the same margins on 5,000 as I am 20,000 because obviously we're outlaying more money, and it's the same problem for them. These guys are having to do that, and then they're having to deal with shipping delays, which means they're not getting their product for 120 days, which is insane. That's insanity. That's 3 times what it should take for them to get their product. And then they're dealing with negative cash flow for that period of time because they're not getting paid all the while the product's sitting on a boat. And these companies are hurting. And the record profits you're seeing, they're not translating into record profits in the coffers of the owners. It's needed because they're having to outlay money. Their staff are putting in 2, 3, 4 times the work on a file. And time is money. These guys are hurting, and he's attacking them. And he wants to unite the country. But he's getting us. You're good, Brandon. Yeah, I can hear you. You good? And so he's talking about uniting the country, but then he's pushing us against these CEOs that are making money. It's like, if you want to make
no,
CEO
I'm not good,
money,
Damien. Everyone's saying that it's they're having trouble.
Oh, you're muted on Spaces, B.
What happened to my camera?
I don't know. I think you're getting some internet connectivity issues. Maybe that's why it's lagging. But I can hear you, like everything you're saying.
I know, but they can't.
Yeah.
I have my sound off on my computer, so I can't hear what you're saying on there. I was listening to you on Spaces.
Okay.
But you're muted on Spaces.
Okay, guys. How's my sound? Okay. So there's no way that I can leave and come back?
Someone just said they can hear you, so you can hear.
Libby? Oh my God. Okay.
Is Libby listening?
We can hear you fine.
Yeah.
She's not responding.
And your space has ended, by the way. So I don't know what's going on here. You getting in? I think you're having big internet problems.
I think so too.
And Dolly just texted me and said, "Sounds fine." So on Facebook is fine.
Well, perhaps the folks on Spaces can just jump over to.
Yeah. Well, we're at Spaces has ended now.
Video?
So anyway, so yeah, so ultimately, just to cap the point, though, he talked about unity, but then he's trying to drive us against the CEOs and trying to make us jealous of the fact. I'm not jealous of a CEO who's making a ton of money. He deserves it. If you want to make that money, get up the ladder, and if you can't, that's your problem.
Well, and why? Since this is something that has never made any sense to me. Why do we villainize a CEO or the founder of a company or an organization? Like, this person had the idea. This person put in the time and effort and work to grow and cultivate that idea and nurture it. And then they bring on more employees to help them grow bigger and bigger and bigger. And that means more revenue for the company. That means more money for the employees. It means more jobs for it's technically trickle-down economics, but
we trust
it
them
works
more. I trust the money in guys like Elon Musk's hands better than I do Joe Biden's, that's for sure. And and you guys are sitting there complaining. Everybody's complaining. It's a generic you guys, but I can't stand Bezos. I can't stand his politics. I can't stand the man himself. Can't stand the amount of money he gives to causes that do not promote. Do not promote what I like. However, the guy's a genius. I use Amazon all the time. I use Amazon Prime. He has a product that I want, and he has it. He came up with the idea. You're sitting there bitching about it, but you're buying product. You're lining his pockets because you're buying his stuff. So, I mean, you're buying his services. So, I mean, stop complaining.
I'm just making a comment now so I can get some feedback once again on my sound. We have people giving me the heads up if this is okay or not.
You sound good to me. Your video is a little fuzzy, like it's laggy, but
okay, I was asking you before, is there a way for me to leave and come back?
Yeah. Yep. Just close it out.
And it won't screw you guys up?
Nope.
Okay, Damien said I was...
well, I'm logged in as the host too, so you're good.
All right, well, I'm going to give it a shot.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Brandon will be back in a second.
It was interesting when Joe Biden said freedom will triumph over tyranny when tyranny's coming from your own administration. So that's quite interesting.
When they're telling you that tyranny is freedom, that's when it triumphs.
I'm starting to think that maybe the dementia or whatever thing is wrong with him is starting to make him be a Republican. Maybe that's what's happening.
He's really maybe he's forgetting he's a Democrat.
I heard, and I cannot confirm this, but I have heard that the progressives are pissed off at him because he wasn't progressive enough. I mean, I found it to be a very moderate speech, but again,
AOC was pissed sitting there.
What?
AOC was angry sitting there. I mean, arms crossed, just angry.
Corey Bush referenced there was no student debt cancellation, which isn't going to happen. We already know that's not going to happen anymore. So, they weren't happy. But it's the same. This is the same stuff that happened during the election. We got moderate Joe Biden. He deceives everyone into making everyone think he's a moderate. And then everyone's going to forget about this speech in a week's time if they haven't already. And then he's going to go back to the same old cowing to the left, the progressive left within the Democrat Party. So it's the same. And to be honest, the overall tone of this speech, it was the same stuff. It was the same stuff from the election. So the promising thing for us is he hasn't changed what he's trying to do. He just didn't say Build Back Better. He didn't say Build Back Better. He didn't say he broke it down into different segments of the agenda that he wants to force through individually, and he's going to try and force it through that way. So it's the same agenda. It just had different packaging on it. And we can see through it, and everyone will eventually see through it again.
Okay, I'm back. I would love to get some feedback from anybody if there's any improvement now that I'm back. Yes, no, let us know.
From us or
not from you? I'm always going to sound good to you guys. It's these guys. They need to be able to hear.
Gina says she can see you.
Sounds way better. Yay, improvement. Okay. 50% improvement. Better. Okay.
Yeah.
Well.
Okay.
Build back better.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, we are about as good as that right now.
Well, and he also, let's talk about, obviously he didn't give any credit to the previous administration and Trump for warp speed. He took credit for the vaccine rollout, even though a day before he took office, we were already at 1 million a day. And then took credit for creating jobs. And I'm sorry, the word creating is entirely incorrect. The jobs that the government took away from us through massive overreach came back. These were jobs that were created under the Trump administration that largely Democrat states took away because the Republican governors were opening up far quicker and understanding the need to open up far quicker. And he wants to now take credit for that. I mean, everything, like you said, Libby, I think gaslighting was the best description for this entire speech.
It really...
Where was their masks last night?
Oh, they took the thing off a day before. It was a day before.
It was the first time they hadn't worn masks. It really does bother me, though, that I have plenty of criticism for Trump, plenty. But Operation Warp Speed was a genuine effort. And as much as they covet their vaccines and this crisis, this pandemic, I would think that should be acknowledged. Just in good faith, know.
If you want to unite the country, acknowledge that you inherited a pretty good situation.
Yeah, that'd be a good start.
And you managed to still screw the growth up somehow. You inherited a pretty good situation. You managed to screw it up. At least give the guy some credit rather than taking all of it. But yeah, that's unfortunately, like you said, gaslighting all the way through.
100%.
I've got a great Dr. Fauci sticker. I don't know if my light is gonna mess that up.
Obey. Oh yeah, I've seen that before.
Yeah. So guys, do we want to take it transition at this point into our what's next for Walkaway?
Sure.
Let's do it. So. All right, let's do it. So listen, I think we've kind of laid out last night. Joe Biden laid out for us the current state of the union in case you actually needed to be told. But never to fear, Walkaway is here and Walkaway has a plan. So the first thing I'd like to talk to you guys about is a little bit about what we went through last year, some of the things we overcame, and then talk to you about where we are headed in the future and why we need you. The first thing I actually want to say tonight, and I said this a little bit in an email I sent out earlier today, and then I copied the email and made it a Facebook post, is I'm actually very concerned about a lot of the things that I'm seeing happening right now amongst conservative voters or just citizens in this country. I'm very aware that this doesn't even feel like a midterm election to me. Honestly, I'm not feeling any energy. I'm not feeling any leadership. I'm not feeling any sense of direction or purpose from people. It kind of seems like people are just sort of floating through this year, aimless, directionless. That concerns me a lot. I'm also very concerned about sort of the complacent energy, which reminds me so much of what things were like during Trump's years. But at least at that time, Trump was in office. We had the Republicans in control of the Senate, and things were just a little bit different then. But now I feel like there's this attitude that's kind of taking place again where people are going, I already am feeling like everyone's putting their eggs into Trump's basket, which, by the way, is like 3 years away. Even if he does run again, even if he does win, that's 3 years off. I'm seeing sort of this falling back into this attitude of people not wanting to get involved, people thinking everything is someone else's job, someone else is going to take care of it. This is not okay. I truly believe in my heart that even this year, this midterm election is a do or die moment for us. I think if we're not victorious and we don't do well, we are going to have probably an impossible time ever again turning this country around and getting things going in the right direction. So we want to start providing some of that leadership and some of that guidance to you guys right now. And we really need you guys to wake up, get energized, and get on board. Because I'm feeling it. I'm putting out posts. I'm saying, like, even with what I've been through, I'm willing to get back out there. I'm willing to get back out working again. And people are kind of like, yay, good for you, Brandon. We're behind you. And I'm like, no. Like, we need some energy here, people. We need involvement. We need you guys to take this seriously. So, Libby, why don't you start by telling the people some of the things we went through last year?
Oh, boy. Wait, when we went through last year, or are you talking about in 2020, the last operational year?
No. What we went through after my arrest, because I want to start by telling them some of the things that we built as solutions, because these are so, I as you and I have discussed, we've all discussed over the last year, I think Walkaway can really be sort of a prototype for many people to understand how you can come back from a mass cancellation the way that we've come back.
Well, I firmly believe that we will be the model, because everything that happened to us last year was absolutely designed to destroy us. And it was right out of the gate, right after 2020, we really didn't think anything could get any worse. Everything was sidelined on 2020, and then on January 8th, oh, okay, who did that? We in January 8th of 2020, Facebook canceled our group of 510,000 members.
2021. It was 2021.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry. They're really running together. 2021. And then it was just dominoes. So Classy was our donor portal we had for a couple of years at that point. They canceled us. Then it was PayPal. Then it was Stripe. Then it was Venmo. Then it was our email platforms. We had used MailChimp, and then Constant Contact canceled. I mean, every single vendor we used just dropped us immediately. And so we were in a position where we couldn't fundraise, we couldn't communicate with our people. I mean, it was dire. But it was also in that moment that we were forced to figure out how to become sustainable, to be self-sustainable. And so we decided, packing up and going home was never an option. I mean, if you know us, that would never even enter our minds. And so it was like, well, screw it. We'll just build what we need to do to operate our organizations and move on with our lives. We'll become uncancelable. And it never occurred to us in that moment that this would sort of be something that happens to so many conservatives, and that this would become the model. But that's essentially what we did. So we reached out to conservatives, and not just conservatives, but people that are freedom-loving people that respect diversity of thought. And we had conversations with them before we just, went online and signed up for an account. We talked to people. We went to the CEOs when we could. We wanted to let them know, like, here's what we're about. We're not trying to get away with anything. We want to tell you who we are and what we do. And we want to make sure that, even if you don't agree with us, that you respect our right to have opinions and to do what we do. And so we completely rebuilt our organization from the ground up with that in mind. And so now we are in a position where we are uncancelable. Well, so go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, Libby. I think we're gonna have to get a little more specific, because somebody in the comments, me, says it seems that PayPal is the only reasonable company these days. No, we've been banned by PayPal. So I want to get very. PayPal. Oh, you did?
I thought I did.
So we've been banned by PayPal, and this happened within months of my arrest. Bear in mind, this is before I had pled to anything. I hadn't pled guilty. I hadn't had a trial. I hadn't had any, opportunity in court to say my side of the story, anything. But as soon as I was charged, we were banned by PayPal, Stripe, Venmo, Constant Contact, MailChimp, Anodot, Classy. Those are donor portals. What else?
Did you say MailChimp?
I did say MailChimp. Constant Contact. Those are emailing services. So we ended up linking up with a kind of conservative-friendly payment processing company. We're using out of Delaware. And through them, they were able to not only replace all of the functionality that we had currently been using with PayPal and Stripe, but they were kind enough to help us build custom solutions to our payment portals and get back up the Walkaway campaign and Walkaway Super PAC and Walkaway Foundation's donor portals, and then use this payment processor. We also went out, found new emailing services. I mean, we really had to rebuild everything from the ground up. And we were successful at doing that. And so we want to just, I think, use this as an opportunity to show conservatives who are going through this not to throw in the towel and not to give up, because you can't. There are solutions. There are ways to overcome these obstacles, and we're kind of calling this our Freedom First initiative, which is, like Libby just said, we're really only doing business with businesses, organizations, and individuals who believe in a person's freedom of political choice, freedom of diversity of thought, that you can vote for whoever you want to vote for, support whoever you want to support, and you have the right to still exist in the digital square. And so these are values that are hugely important to us. And Damien, we are going to shift into talking about the PAC and all of your initiatives in just a moment. Do we first want to talk about Walkaway Social?
Sure.
Let's talk about Walkaway Social. So, as Libby said, on January 8th of 2021, Facebook shut down the incredibly successful, phenomenally amazing Walkaway campaign group, which at that point had 510,000 members. We had thousands of written and video testimonials, tens of thousands, and of course that incredible community that has meant so much to so many people. This is the thing that people bring up the most to us. It's the thing that people are most upset about, and honestly, it's the thing that we care about the most as well, is bringing back that community and that space on social media for people to be able to come together, make their videos, tell their stories, put out those incredible testimonials, and share those videos that go so viral and help to organically grow our movement. Now, we knew that we couldn't just run out and create a new group on Facebook. We knew we couldn't just run out and create Walkaway somewhere on some other social platform that's big tech owned. And also, because of the functionality that we need, we couldn't even really rebuild Walkaway on right-leaning platforms like Getter, like Truth Social, like Clout Hub, a number of other social media platforms, because we need specific functionality, the function of groups, the function to upload unlimited videos and unlimited characters to be able to tell testimonials. What we realized is this is something we were going to have to build ourselves. And honestly, it's kind of been a dream of ours for a long, long time to own our own social platform for the Walkaway community. We're not looking to replace Facebook. We're not looking to be the next Truth Social or Getter or any open source platform. This is for Walkaway only. Those amazing testimonials, the amazing community, the state groups, the discussion group, all things Walkaway. So we decided to create our own social platform, which again is going to be hosted on servers that are owned by and run by freedom-loving, oftentimes conservative people. And so we want to give you guys just a short snippet of what Walkaway Social is going to look like and feel like for all of you, because we're in the process of building it right now. We've been building it this whole year. And let me see if I can do this. This is a little teaser ad for Walkaway Social.
Time to explain why I walked away.
Oops, nope.
Let's watch it again.
Let's watch it again and again and again. All right. So listen, guys, Walkaway Social, it's going to be amazing. Honestly, this is nothing like this has ever been done before. This will be the world's first social platform with the absolute intention of bringing people together in a community to stop a tyrannical political party and political ideology that is tearing our country apart. Walkaway, I think, is the most phenomenal movement that has brought people together of all walks of life, all backgrounds, colors, races, religious backgrounds. And we are going to rebuild that community ourselves using Walkaway Social. So what we'd like to ask all of you to do is support our relaunch of Walkaway. You can do that by going to walkawaycampaign.com. Make a contribution, make a donation. There on the homepage, you should see a big blue donate button. Smash it. Please donate to the relaunch of Walkaway. Your donation is not only going to help the relaunch of the organization, but it's going to help build Walkaway Social, because we still have several more months of building and testing before we're able to launch our platform, and it's going to be amazing. You guys are really going to love it. We'll come back to that a little bit later. Damien, why don't you tell us about the pack?
I would absolutely love to. And, it's actually good to go back onto something that you just said about, kind of feeling a little bit disheartened about what you're watching right now with the movement. I feel like there's a leadership vacuum in this movement right now since Trump's removal. And obviously he's still a presence, but he's kind of, obviously, while he's been building Truth Social, it's been a limited presence. And I feel like there's a power vacuum there. And unfortunately, it's being tried to fill by about 3 or 4 different factions of the conservative movement. And we've got to get back to understanding that we're all on the same side here. We're all trying to work together, and we're gonna be a leader in that kind of sense as we go forward. So obviously, the foundation has existed since the beginning of time. We have always wanted to become more political, so the PAC was founded for that sole purpose. We're currently a super PAC. We are going through the process of becoming a hybrid PAC. The reason that we want to do this is because super PACs have a few more restrictions, and the hybrid PAC kind of gives you the best of both worlds. We're able to engage a little bit more with our elected officials, and that gives us a bit more flexibility to do so. So we're in the process of changing that down from a super PAC to a hybrid PAC, which gives you the benefits of the standard PAC and the super PAC combined. And in the process of, while we've been building out from all these cancellations, we've been heavily focused on building out the new grassroots advocacy movement, which is what is ultimately the PAC is there to run. So I want to introduce you to our mission first, and we've revised our mission statement recently to incorporate, and then I'm going to go through the different parts of this mission statement and how we're going to achieve it. So our mission statement is to encourage others to walk away from the Democrat Party through the restoration of the people's voice, a return to our founding principles, and support of politicians who personify walkaway values. We'll get into the walkaway values as we go through this. So the first question you're going to have, all right, is how do we restore the people's voice? And this is how we get people to walk away. I've had a lot of people come out to me and say, how do we get on top of the lying mainstream media and over, especially in the inner cities where we need to win? How do we shout over all these progressives, right? Well, the key to that is creating the largest boots on the ground movement the country's ever seen. And that's both boots on the ground and online advocacy. We have so many people reach out to us who say, I'm not able to show up to the Unsilent March in Washington, D.C. I don't have the money to do it. I don't have the time. I have too many commitments at home, children, and that really kind of makes people feel helpless and like their voice isn't heard. So we've been not only working to build out the boots on the ground movement, but creating an online advocacy movement that will enable you to have that same power from your living room couch, your dining room table, your home office, wherever it is. So ultimately, what we have done is we have secured a deal with an online advocacy company, again, through our kind of Freedom First movement initiative, where we're only pairing with companies that will not cancel us. And we have been building out on our website. And if you can go to that, you can see here, www.walkawaypac.org. You can go and see some of the tools that we have put in place so far. Firstly, we've been utilizing surveys and polls to make your voice heard, not just nationally, but within our movement. You can see what our slogan is. We are the people's PAC. We're the first PAC to come out and say we are the people's PAC. Most PACs have special interests, whether it's business interests, corporate interests, or their own gang, or their own personal interests of the leaders. Our interest is you. So what we did was we surveyed our members, our entire mailing lists, and said, what are the values? What are the issues that mean the most to you? We want to pick the top 5, and we want to run with those top 5, shape it around our messaging. And Brandon, if you have any questions while I'm going through this and running on, anybody has any questions, please jump in. So we wanted you guys to shape the values. So firstly, we gave you guys a voice within this movement, within this PAC. Then we're going to be utilizing petitions and calls to action, right? So by calls to action, I mean, if there is an issue that you guys feel particularly strongly about, or we identify a piece of legislation that goes against the walkaway values, we may turn around to you and say, right, let's activate everybody, not just on the ground, but let's activate everybody online. Let's set up a campaign through the website where you can contact your legislators, with a pre-scripted message that will go and
Damien, hold on.
Yeah. What's this? What's going on?
Sorry. Libby, I hit share screen because I wanted to show them the website.
I noticed.
Now we have an echo.
There's an echo?
Yeah. I hate Restream. All right, I'm going to leave and come back again.
Okay.
Go ahead, Damien. Sorry.
Okay. So these campaigns, like, for instance, let's take DC statehood, which right now has passed the House and it's in the Senate. We all see this as a power grab and an unconstitutional power grab. So ultimately what we want you to do is we want you to tell your representatives and your senators that. So you would be able to do that through our website. And I don't think there's anything more powerful than ultimately a senator getting tens of thousands of emails in their inbox telling them this is how I feel on the issue. The same subject heading, the same content, explaining our position behind it, and getting them to listen. Now, my senators here in Massachusetts, they're not obviously going to listen to me, but that doesn't matter. You still have to have your voice heard. The power of that is still crucial. So that's one of the other things that we're doing. We want to also arm people with all the information that they need to be able to advocate. And that just means identifying who your reps are from the very, from the state level all the way up through to the White House, who your representatives are, and enabling you to contact them. You can actually contact your local and your national representatives through our website, as well as track legislation. And the key reason behind being able to track, having the ability to track the legislation through our website, having it all in one place, is that you're able to arm yourself with the information to make the informed and correct decisions. So you've heard me talk about walkaway values. What are those values? Well, as I said, we surveyed the people, our members. If you were on our mailing list, you all got it. We had thousands and thousands of responses. The response to this was fantastic. And we settled on 5 key walkaway values. And that is an American and First agenda, which encompasses reshoring initiatives for high-end industries, American jobs, American industry, oil and gas, all of that stuff. Comes under the American First agenda. We then have border security, strengthening our borders, building the border wall, stricter immigration laws that protect our national security, and so on and so forth. Big tech censorship, going after the big tech companies that canceled people like us, silenced your voices, suppressed your voices, suppress stories like the Hunter Biden story, going after those companies to make sure they can be held accountable and they can't rig an election the way that they did. Uphold and defend the Constitution. We had a lot of First Amendment, Second Amendment, religious freedom responses. So we encompass that into one whole value. So anything that challenges the Constitution in any way, we will take up as an issue. And I will give you a very good example of something that just happened this week. That was the abortion bill that just went through and got defeated in the Senate, which would have overridden the Religious Freedoms Protection Act. Now, we don't take a stance on that specific topic, but it overrode the Religious Freedom Protection Act, and that cannot be tolerated. That is a constitutional issue. So that went into our issues as a reason, and we're tracking that bill. And then finally, the most important one to many people, election integrity. So those issues can be found on our website. You can see it and see a brief explanation of those issues there. So how are we going to hold the politicians to account? Well, we're building a scorecard system too. So we've invested in a bill tracking software. Myself and a couple other members of our team are scrolling through the alerts that we get. We set up discovery alerts so that what will happen is when a bill comes through that hits on the keywords we're looking for, it comes into our system. We read the bill, we decide whether it's relevant, whether it's not relevant, whether we support or we oppose it, and we start to track it. Now, some of these bills get defeated in committee, some of them get through to the floor, and when they get through to the floor and they're voted on, we track the votes. So what we're going to be able to do is we're going to be able to run a report on every vote on every issue that we take up, and we're going to be able to present you with a scorecard that says this is how they vote overall, and this is how they vote on select issues. Again, the key thing, arming everybody with the right information to make informed decisions. We also, we're going to provide you. Sorry, Brandon.
So, Damien,
say something.
Yeah, we have the website up on the screen right now.
I'm looking now. Yep.
I do in fact have an echo. Oh Lord. Can you kind of walk people through what we're looking at right now?
Okay.
So that they can see themselves when they go to the website.
Let me enlarge my screen. so I can see it. So right now, what you're in, can you take me? So did you click on a bill? This was on a specific bill, right? So under the Advocacy Center, Brandon has gone to bill tracking. And I've given some examples under 2 of the issues of bills that we're tracking. This is going to be built out further. And so ultimately, you're able to visibly see what bills we're tracking under what issues, where we stand, and we're also able to put in there why we stand for how we stand for it. So you're able to see what we're tracking there, specifically. Complete transparency. If you click on it, it will go and you'll be able to see, again, this is all on our website. You don't have to go find it anywhere else. It's all in one spot. You're able to go see what's happening with this bill. You can actually click on that bottom link. It'll actually take you to the government website where you can read the bill if you really want to read the bill. So all of that is available there. If you actually, Brandon, if you go back off of that, yep, perfect. And there you go. So that took you through to that. And if Brandon goes back to the previous page, back onto our website, if he comes out of the bill, Brandon, if you close that, if you come out that specific bill, by hitting close, scroll back down. There you go, perfect. If you go to the top, you can actually find your own legislation. So you can go federal or by state, put in a keyword. If you want to find all federal legislation that relates to immigration, just type the word immigration into that search bar and hit search, and it's going to generate a search where you can find all legislation, whether we're tracking it or not. Obviously, that's a pretty broad keyword. You're going to get a lot of searches. However, you're able to do that all from one spot. If you want to hit the Advocacy Center again, Brandon, and go to find your legislator.
I think Libby's running it.
Oh, Libby, sorry. I thought Brandon was running.
Libby, if you're waiting for me, I'm not doing anything.
So obviously here, if you enter your zip code and then you enter your address, what is going to end up happening is you are going to find, and Libby's going to give you a demonstration. You can do it in 1238. Do a 123 ABC Street. That actually is legitimately a street. I found out when I was running a test before. So here you go. So it's doing a search and it's taking some time to generate. Now it gives here, or from all the way down from the White House, and if Libby, you scroll down, it will go all the way down to your state reps. Now, what you can also do, Libby, just say you want to contact your state rep and state senator instead of federal. Tick on the box next to those, next to the images, and hit compose message. And now you can send a message to your representatives directly from our website. You don't have to go find their website. You can do it all in one place. Again, this is the key thing, is giving everyone the tools in one spot to be able to do everything they need to do to make it feel like they're having their voice heard, that they need to do, and do what they need to do on our website. And obviously, as we eventually start taking up bills and build out campaigns, they're going to appear on the website too. So that is what you're seeing there. And obviously, if you do want to volunteer, I'm sure we've got people saying, right, well, how do I get involved? I want to get boots on the ground. If you go to the volunteer and support tab, fill out the page here. That will come straight through to the back end of our system. We have regional leaders and state leaders, and we're building out district leaders at the state level to regrow this grassroots movement from the ground back up. So if you are interested, head over there and you can volunteer there. So I think I'm now going to go into the next part of what I wanted to talk about, on top of because I mentioned in the mission statement a return to our founding principles, right? So why is that important? Well, the only thing that you can 100% or should be able to 100% unite the country behind are our founding principles. And we've gone away from those founding principles, especially on the left. Sometimes I see examples of it on the right too. So we have to call ourselves out when we see it. I don't want the Constitution weaponized for my gain any more than I want the left weaponizing it against me. We saw what happened when you changed the filibuster rules with Supreme Court nominations and how that bit the Democrats in the arse. Well, that was their fault. We don't want to make the same mistakes the Democrats have been making. So we really want to unite the right and the left, the classic liberals that still hold freedom, that still believe in freedom of speech, still believe in the Second Amendment, still believe in religious freedom, and these core founding principles that this country is built upon. We want to unite everyone behind it, right? The Constitution isn't conservative, it's not liberal, right? We have to accept that. And if we can all accept that and all come to agree that we can argue about, argue is the wrong word, we can debate policy another day, but there is no compromise on the Constitution. And that's why, we talk about uniting people behind the founding principles as well as restoring the voice, because that is a key element.
Damien, I just want to say that one of the things I love so much about what we're rolling out here with the pack, and just to be clear, we want to show you guys, we wanted to kind of give you guys a sort of a taste of what we're beginning to offer, what we're going to be offering. And of course, we're going to provide a lot more guidance, a lot more support. We're going to provide a lot more direction and leadership. So don't worry about that. But what I love about what you've really created here with the pack is that it allows everybody to get involved at the level or ability that they are able to get involved. We know that there are some people who are not mobile. We know some people, and we know there are people who have never registered a single voter or knocked on a single door. A lot of people want to help, but they simply do not know what to do, and they've never done anything before. What I love about this is that we're providing people with activism and advocacy tools that they can get involved really at any even if people can't leave their house. They can write letters to their senators or their Congress people. They can create petitions. They can create ways to get other people involved in activism and advocacy. And I think it's amazing.
Yeah, and I want to stress we will be having an announcement coming out in the next week or two. I can't announce who it is at this point, but we agreed. We're just waiting for the writing to come down. But we have been pairing with a very high up official in the conservative movement to create what we have into one big conservative only platform, which will put us on par with the Democrats in terms of technology. We have lagged behind the Democrats in terms of technology for a very, very long time. And we also lack cohesion. Now, and by saying I'll use Georgia as an example, the runoffs in Georgia was a mess. Every organization was doing different things. They were not talking to each other. Some people were doing it just obliviously. Some people were doing it because they didn't want to work with other organizations. They cared about their own reputation more than they cared about working together. That was stuff that was happening in Georgia. This piece of software, which is being built by a very high up official from the previous administration, is going to revolutionize what we do in the whole movement. And we will be working with him exclusively to build this around smaller grassroots organizations. And we'll be rolling that out before the end of this year. We will be testing it through the midterms, and then it will be ready for the 2024 election when, that's the big one. That's the one that we really obviously want to really regain the White House. So it will be ready for 2024 after the test run that we run it this year. And I'm super excited about it. I can't wait till we can do the release. And I wish I could say who it is. I wish I could say what it is. But you will know in the next 1 or 2 weeks. So
I feel like you're very close. I mean, like with every sentence you said, you were
like, I'm pushing it as close
whether or not he has a beard. I'm just saying.
Rhymes with.
I got very close, but I'm not saying anymore. That's it. I'm still. But it is exciting because, again, I've talked about there's a lack of direction right now. There's a lack of cohesion. There are some, and I don't want to rip on everybody. There are some guys out there. I mean, let's give one of the friends of Walkaway a real good hands. Scott Presler has been out there doing everything that he's been doing for the last God knows how long, doing it just as well. And we're seeing these places flip Republican. We're seeing the gap between Republican, and Democrats in Florida get wider and wider. We're majoritively Republican registered in Florida for the first time ever, right? I think in the last year or so. So there's guys like him that are and it's him that is getting let down by the lack. He needs to be out on the ground doing what he's doing, like we do. And this kind of stuff that we're working on is going to change the game and get us all talking, get us all working cohesively. And it's going to bring us on a level that we've never been with the Democrats on the ground.
Damien, would this be a good moment to divert away from the pack for just a moment?
Yeah, okay? I mean, we've touched on a lot.
Yeah, and we can come back to. Libby, can we share the Walkaway, the all new walkawaycampaign.com?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. So listen, guys, we completely revamped our website over the last few months as well. We did a lot this year. We had to rebuild the org, rebuild all the things that were taken away. We started building our own social platform. Damien built out this total advocacy and activism program for walkawaypack.org. And okay, go slow. And then, so this is the all new walkawaycampaign.com. So you go on the site. First of all, please notice that big, beautiful blue donate button at the top. Don't ignore it. This is how we're going to keep this thing going. If you scroll down, you'll see the ad for Walkaway Social. So if you guys missed it earlier, please take a look at the up-and-coming Walkaway Social, our own social platform. And for anybody watching right now, take a moment, hit share this live video, share it with everybody, retweet, and encourage everyone you know to watch. So what we wanted to do is put a lot of focus on you guys, the heart and soul of Walkaway, which is the movement. It's all about the people. So we tried to make this as much, everything that we did on this website is about people who have been Walkaway voices or part of the Walkaway community, our Walkaway volunteers. It's really about you guys. So Libby, take it away. Well, okay, that's kind of me. All right, so that's me. But if we get past that part,
we built a website about all around Brandon. Here we go. No, this
who's that guy? Who's that guy?
This guy said a couple nice things about us.
He did.
Actually, right here with me. He's right here.
We've got, a section for you to get involved, whether you want to volunteer for the pack or for the foundation. There's lots of stuff on here. Some of our favorites, like Shamika, lots of fun quotes. It's got some nice little stats for you to pull up if you need to. We've got testimonials on here as well. Information
went
about
zipping by Roseanne.
Well, I love Roseanne and all, but I didn't know if y'all could read the quotes on your own.
It's true.
Yeah.
We have Roseanne, David Harris Jr. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, and every page has stars on it. I mean, it's pretty awesome. And then we've got
Mikey.
Yep, we've got this cool map here somewhere. I thought there was a map. I could be wrong. Oh wait,
just the animations alone just shows us how much Walkaway has done over the last few years.
It's true. It's true. Well, and that's why I think we like it so much, right? It's kind of this compilation of things that we've done and accomplished. And so it's kind of nice to be able to review that. This is a really cool interactive map where you can find your state groups on Facebook. This will be replaced soon enough, as soon as we get Walkaway Social up and running. And then this will take you there instead. But if you're looking for your state group, you can just find it right in here.
Kat McNeff asked, what is the difference between the PAC and the foundation? Kat, we will answer that question as soon as we get done showing you the website.
That is a great question, Kat.
And we also got asked what a super PAC is, so we'll touch on that as well.
Okay.
Testimonials, if you guys want to go in and watch some of those testimonials that you miss so much. We've got both written and video testimonials in here for you to review. So please peruse that. Our Hard Truth series is in here. Our blog is in here. We've got a gallery of events that we have already conducted, but this will be where our latest events go as well. Of course, our shop is still there. Everything you need in one place. And it's just beautiful. It's just real pretty,
It is.
Brandon's original video. It's bright and vibrant, and it's so much better, in my opinion.
I love it. Yeah, and guys, if you go to, this is walkawaycampaign.com, please go check it out for yourself. When you first get on the page, the first thing you're going to notice is a pop-up, and the pop-up tells you what our goals and our plans are for this coming year. Take a minute to read it, because a lot of it we've talked about tonight, but we just threw like an enormous amount of information at you. We would not blame you if you don't remember everything that we said tonight. A lot of it is listed out right there. So take a minute to read that. Please, please, please donate. So I need you guys to understand, when we had to rebuild everything, we're very proud of the job that we did. We're very proud that we made a decision to stay alive and come back. But it was hard. It really was. Between getting our email services banned and our donor portals banned and ban. We ended up, not through any fault of you guys, but we ended up losing more than 50% of our recurring donors, because simply the donor portals got shut off, and then we lost any ability to email people and tell people that the donor portals had been shut off. So we have been able to recover, I'd say, about 40 to 45% of our recurring donors, but it is going to take us some time to build that back up. We need your help, and the time is now. We haven't really been bothering you guys and pestering you guys over the last year as we were going through our own stuff with the legal case. But we're here. In the next couple of months, this bracelet is coming off of my ankle. I'm getting back out. My team is going to get back out. We've got time to make up for all the time that we lost, because we have goals that we've set. I mean, we want to see that minority vote shift. I want to see it shift by more than 50%. My goal was by 2024 that the Democrats would have less than 50% minority votes in all categories. We've lost some time, but we're going to do the best we can. But we want you to hit that donate button. And please give, because we're going to get out there and start busting our tails really, really soon to make up for lost time. And we're going to need your help to do it. And that donation is also going to help build Walkaway Social and build our relaunch event for the Walkaway campaign, which you'll be hearing about in the coming months. The question was, what's the difference between the PAC and the foundation? I'm assuming, Libby, you want to run with this one?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I've had to explain this quite a bit. So essentially the foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit. So we exist for educational purposes. So all of our education, when we do debates in the communities, we do community outreach, we do educational videos, all of that is done under the foundation, the nonprofit foundation. Now, the PAC, the super PAC, exists for the political activity. Now, it's a fine line, right? Because you can, under the foundation, you can certainly discuss issues, and we do that a lot, but you can't be partisan. So that's where the PAC comes in. The super PAC comes in. Now, there's some specific rules around super PACs. With the foundation, all of your donations are tax deductible, but you'd have to donate on the foundation side for that. The donations also, you don't have to disclose donors on the foundation side. You do have to disclose donors on the PAC side. Not that I want that to be a drawback, but just giving you facts. But Damien, why don't you give them some of the particulars about the actual PAC and the rules surrounding that?
So a super PAC is an independent expenditure only committee. Super PACs have a lot more flexibility in what they can fundraise, and that is why they're independent expenditure only. I'll go into what that means after I just go through the donations. So a normal PAC is capped at how much we can accept from an individual, and a normal PAC cannot take corporate money. A super PAC is able to take unlimited donations from individuals like yourselves listening in, and we're also allowed to take unlimited corporate donations. Obviously, super PACs the reason we initially became a super PAC was because we would like to accept unlimited donations, but we also want to combat the super PACs that are already out there. All the super PACs are out there. I think it's like more than 2/3 of the money it's more than 2/3 of the donations to super PACs are $1 million or more. It's all corporate interest. So we kind of wanted to take the battle to those super PACs and say, right, well, this is the people's PAC. This isn't corporate special interest. Our special interest is the people. So we did that for that reason. A standard PAC obviously has those limits. Now, after a legal battle between a PAC owner and the FEC about 10 years ago, the hybrid PAC was born, which enables somebody to have two bank accounts. They're allowed to take donations within both sets of rules. And ultimately, what then that means is we can do different things. Now, with the independent expenditure money, the corporate money, we are not allowed to coordinate with politicians. It has to be donated to independent expenditures such as advertisements, newspaper ads, radio ads, kind of social media ads, these kind of things. That is an independent expenditure. We cannot coordinate that with the candidate, with the Republicans. We cannot do that at all. However, when we get into the normal PAC, where we are capped at providing each candidate no more than $5,000 per election cycle, we can take $5,000 from that fund and give it directly to a candidate if we want to, or if we don't want to give it directly to them, we can still coordinate with them on that money. So that's why we went to the hybrid, because we really wanted the best of both worlds. And obviously some of the smaller candidates were reluctant to talk to super PACs. It's not that they're not allowed to. It is that the restrictions in what you can say in those meetings are so strict. You get an FEC complaint, it can obviously bog you down. So we decided to go and get the best of both worlds, and that's why we're transferring the super PAC to a hybrid PAC.
Cool. I also got another question that I would like to address. I think it was Star asked, what is the difference between walkawaycampaign.com and walkawaypac.org? Okay, so listen, I don't want to throw so much information at you guys tonight that you literally, your head's spinning and you can't keep this straight. So I'm going to try to keep this really simple. There are two different organizations that we deal with. There's the Walkaway Foundation, and then we have the Walkaway Campaign PAC. Two completely separate entities. Those two entities can never overlap in any way, shape, or form. They can't work together. They can't collaborate with one another. One is a nonprofit organization. One is a PAC. So those are two entirely separate things. Walkawaycampaign.com is just sort of a host site where that's where the movement was born. It's where we house testimonials. It's where we house people's stories, pictures, things like that sort of commemorate the different things that Walkaway has done. But also through walkawaycampaign.com, this is where we are building Walkaway Social and doing Walkaway's relaunch event. So when we launch, again, I don't want to confuse everyone to death, but imagine this. When you go on Facebook, there's a number of different pages. There's a page for this, a page for that. You go and you follow the different things that you want to follow. Well, we wanted to create Walkaway Social in a way that neither the Walkaway Foundation was paying for the creation of Walkaway Social or Walkaway PAC. It's its own separate company that owns Walkaway Social. For that, the purpose of that is because we want different organizations to be able to be represented and have their own page. Walkaway PAC will have its own page on Walkaway Social. Walkaway Foundation will have its own page on Walkaway Social, as well as a number of other organizations, influencers, things like that over time. So in order to maintain it as a neutrally owned platform, an LLC was created with the purpose of owning Walkaway Social. And that LLC also covers the cost of walkawaycampaign.com and will cover the cost of our relaunch event. So walkawaycampaign.com is the website where basically we commemorate the movement, and we'll be raising funds to host our relaunch event and build Walkaway Social. After those things happen and we launch Walkaway Social and we have our relaunch event, we'll be putting the majority of our focus down the road into events and fundraising for the various other organizations. The PAC will have its own events. The foundation will have its own events separate from one another. And each has its own website, which is also separate from one another. Libby, did I do okay?
You did, though. I'm laughing because you were like, I don't want to give you too much information, so I'm going to give you all this information.
Well, because we're going to get those questions anyway. People are going to be like, oh, but where do I go and what do I do?
Well, so the way I typically describe it is that walkawaycampaign.com is like the movement's website. It's the hub to the movement. Right. And there you can find the two organizations that have kind of sprung from the movement.
Mm-hmm. Good enough. But for the time being, so as to not further confuse you, we are asking that you please be willing to go to walkawaycampaign.com and make a donation toward the creation of Walkaway Social and towards our relaunch event. That the fundraising that we do for walkawaycampaign.com will be doing on it's a temporary basis. Once we get to the point where we have our social platform completely ready to go, we do our relaunch event, we'll be putting our focus on the other orgs at that point. So you won't be hearing from us so much talking about walkawaycampaign.com. But as for today, that's what we're asking that you do. Please go to walkawaycampaign.com and donate towards our beautiful relaunch. Yeah. Nick, you've been awful quiet.
It will be, by the way, we are planning an actual relaunch event as well. So that will be, I mean, it's kind of going to be amazing.
It is going to be amazing.
think
Yep.
Apple product launch meets TED Talks meets Broadway. That might be going too far.
No, that's
Meets Paris fashion
Oh,
show.
we should all do like a sing along on stage, so that way we can. bring
Well,
Broadway.
I heard
Meets
you're
karaoke.
leading. Right. Yes. So that's coming along too. We don't want to give you too much information on that yet because, I mean, everything was kind of thrown for a loop with Brandon's sentencing and then just kind of trying to come back and get in front of you guys and let you know what happened and all of that. So we're kind of working through all of that, working our strategy, which was to get back into the media and to get you guys all up to speed on what's going on. We are, planning events. So, you'll definitely hear a lot more and a lot more regularly from us coming up very soon.
And so somebody just asked, what's the target launch date? Honestly, right now, we're shooting for the end of May. Our anniversary is actually May 26th. But I need you guys to understand how difficult this has been, because in dealing with the Department of Justice over the last year through my case, they have been less than forthcoming, not honest whatsoever with me in dealing with my case. And the continuances of my case happened 5 times over the course of more than a year. We honestly believed that we were going to be relaunching last May. Then that got pushed back to the 4th of July last year. Then that got pushed to September. September got pushed to October. October got pushed to January. And then now by January, we were just like, let's just stop coming up with relaunch dates because we honestly did not believe that I would be getting 3 months of house arrest. I mean, that is just not the information that we were getting or the hints that were being dropped to us from the DOJ, who were completely dishonest with us about everything. So
I didn't believe it one bit.
Nor did we believe that
you thought the case was getting dismissed.
I thought it was going to be dismissed. I'm like, there's no way this is going to go any farther. Well,
it ended up going totally the opposite direction. So to answer your question, I want you guys to try, we never asked for pity. We never asked for people to feel sorry for us, but it's I can't tell you what it feels like to keep planning something and then having someone come and step on it and smash it and just like grind it into the ground. I mean, because we just kept being like, okay, our new relaunch date is this. Our new relaunch date is the 4th of July. And that we would actually like start looking for venues. We hired an event planner like 7 different times. And then we had to go back to her and be like, we're canceling again. We're canceling. Yeah, sorry again. Yeah, see you again in 3 months. All right, exactly. So at least now we know for a fact that I'm off of house arrest on April 28th. And honestly, I'd say the biggest factor right now is raising funds and making sure that we can present you with a platform that is beautiful, that functions well, that we feel really good about, and more importantly, that we know that you guys are going to feel really good about. We're not going to rush something out that isn't ready, but we honestly believe that by the end of May, we really think that we can be there. So don't, mark your calendars just yet, but maybe just have in your mind end of May, maybe the walkaway comeback. But I can tell you that we're going to know for sure by, I think, April 1st. I think by April 1st, we're going to know what our relaunch date is looking like. Does that sound fair? Yeah. That's fair, right? Yeah.
Sounds fair to me.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, I'm seeing Brenda say DOJ. Yeah, we feel the same way, Brenda.
Yep. Brenda nailed it on that one.
Do we have any questions in the comments right now? Or organizational, political?
I think as well, Brandon, should we do because Twitter Space, our attempt to sync with Twitter Spaces tanked absolutely spectacularly.
I don't think we got on Getter either.
I think we need to do a Twitter Spaces for kind of like a bit more of an engaged Q&A. We can let some people in to ask some questions. Maybe again separately, we'll do one for the pack in the coming whenever Brandon, you're ready. I'll take some time in the next couple of days to get it done, so we can get some engagement on Twitter Spaces on that. So.
Well, yeah, and certainly I think honestly over the next few months we're gonna have to have this same conversation again and again and again, because obviously we're not going to reach every person in one conversation. And I hate to say it, but I have to reiterate what I said earlier. I can see, and I'm not just talking about walkaway. I'm not just talking about, but the energy in the political movement right now, the energy amongst conservatives, it's bad. It's just bad. And I honestly, I guess I kind of believe that once I came back and after everything I've gone through, and I'm not giving up, I'm not quitting. I still am as passionate as I ever was. I still have the same fire inside of me to get out there and work hard and make a difference. And I guess I just thought that by people seeing me coming back, they were going to be like, yeah, let's go. And it's not there. And like, you guys, you can't just listen, you cannot wait for 2024. You cannot wait for Trump to run again and just think, oh, well, God, Trump will solve everything in 2024. The time is now. We need you. Every single one of you. So I'm sorry if you're tired. I'm sorry if you're depressed. I'm sorry if you're upset about the 2020 election, but you got to put on your big boy and your big girl pants now because it's go time. We're ready to go, and we need all of you guys to go with us.
And speaking of 2020 as well, I wanted to tell guys, we need eyes forward. I know there's a lot going on, and there's a lot of people that are saying this is going to happen and decertification this and it's not going to change anything. Right now, we're winning because the Democrats suck. That's pretty much why we're winning. We, as Brandon says, I feel like there's complacency, and it's because of lack of leadership. It's not anybody's fault other than the leaders of this movement. Some of them have nefarious means. Some of them are just doing it obliviously. And we need to get moving, because if they pick up their game, we're going to be falling behind. And to do that, we really need to look forward. Yes, obviously, election integrity is one of our key walkaway values. We need to change the laws so that what happened in 2020 cannot happen. What we see in Wisconsin cannot happen again with unlawful changing of laws. What happened in Pennsylvania, Arizona. However, we cannot get hung up looking behind our shoulder in the past,
right?
Because we will foul at some point, and we are already getting to that level of complacency. And it's just a miracle the Democrats suck at what they're doing right now.
That's so true. Sorry, Libby, I know you have something to say, but I just want to say that I do believe we're probably going to do all right in the midterms. I don't think we're going to do as well as everybody thinks that we're going to do. But even if we do all right, even if we do well in the midterms, it's not because Republicans have an incredible message right now and they're killing it. It's literally a reflection of how much people are hating Democrats right now. Wouldn't it be nice if, and again, Walkaway is not a Republican movement. That's not the point. But wouldn't it be nice if the American people had a message they felt like they could get behind and they felt really good about? I think that's sorely lacking right now. Libby, sorry.
I don't really have that much to add, but I was just going to say, in 2022 and 2024, like it would be a shame for us to take our foot off the gas at this point because everyone's butthurt about what happened in 2020. I mean, we've learned so much from that it's time to implement that. Now, we can't count on the RNC or the GOP to learn anything from that, but we have, the grassroots have, and that's what we need to put forward. And so, this is not the time to let up, especially when the Democrats are just so monumentally screwing up, much to our luck.
Listen, if we can get threatened, if we can get attacked, if we can get canceled, none of you can give up. We all have to be a part of this, and that's exactly what we're gonna do.
Thank you. Oh, someone says Damien is cute in real life.
Oh, you must have missed the one where Carlin was talking about how beautiful I look. Thank you, Carlin.
Oh.
Let's not exaggerate here.
Yeah, and I'm sorry that Libby was so jealous of your compliment, Damien.
No, you know why this is happening, and I told all of my followers that you guys have been real.
Sorry, you should have seen her. You should have seen her. You should have seen her hair earlier. Am I frozen still?
Yeah. Can you? What if we do this and this? Does that help? No, that didn't help at all.
I'm moving.
You, Brandon. He's not frozen. It's you.
Oh, weird. He's frozen on my screen.
Pretending like Brandon's being Joe Biden right now. I don't know if we can. I got hairy legs. They get blonde in the sun.
God.
This comes.
Okay.
Like a comedy night.
Speaking of which, okay, what an amazing transition. Thank you, Nick. So one of our next Twitter Spaces this is going to be so great. We're going to do. First of all, I hope you guys saw our Twitter Spaces. Our first one a week ago was Black American Thought Leaders. It was so great. We had a huge audience, great feedback, and actually, I'm going to stream it in the next, maybe tomorrow or the day after. We're going to stream it out. But one of our next Twitter Spaces is going to be comedians who left the left. It's going to be so good because I actually have 3 or 4 friends who are really amazing comedians who are walkaways. And I was talking to them, and they each have a couple of friends. So we're going to do a panel of comedians talking about what it's like to work in the world of comedy, Hollywood, because they're all like Hollywood, comedians who left the left. So I'm so excited for that one. I think it's going to be awesome. Jay Anderson is what, Brandon? She said, Nick. See, someone said Nick is looking extra good too. And then they said, or is it Brandon? It's Nick. It's always Nick.
Every day.
So, all right, guys. And I guess we'll probably begin the process of wrapping up here tonight because we've been on for almost 2 hours. We're going to be going live with you more often. This is not the first and only, or it is the first, but it's not the only time we'll be having this conversation. We're going to need your help this year. We're going to need your help financially. We're going to need your help in volunteering for the organization. And mostly, we're going to need you guys. We're going to need you guys to get it together, get your energy up, get your enthusiasm up, and make sure you're there, ready, willing, and able to go once we hit the ground running, which is really going to start the moment I'm off of house arrest, April 28th. We're going to start traveling around the country. We'll be doing rallies, live events. We'll be doing town halls. We'll be doing activism drives, and we're going to need you guys. So again, I do apologize that some of you are feeling like you've lost your mojo since the 2020 election. Trust me, like Nick just said, if I can be FBI raided and taken to jail and put in an orange jumpsuit and have to spend a couple of days with crackheads and then have my life torn apart and then sit here in this ankle monitor and be on probation for the next 3 years and still want to save America, you can do it too. I know you can.
Can you imagine how difficult life is for those who work for Brandon at this point? Because I mean, imagine if we have a sick day, Brandon's talking about, I was in jail, I've got an ankle monitor on my, like, if I can make it to work every day, this is what we go through. This is what we go through.
Well, it's true though.
Brandon,
all
I
right.
think we should end with the video you posted on Twitter if we're able to.
I can't. Oh, well, maybe if Libby has the magical powers of sharing her screen.
It's on TikTok, isn't it? Or did you post it on Twitter too?
It's on Twitter as well.
Okay.
All right, but listen, if we're going to end with that video, then before we wrap up, once again, guys, please go to walkawaycampaign.com. Click the donate button. We need your support. Your donation is going to go directly towards the build of the platform that you keep telling us you're missing so much, which is the Walkaway Campaign group. We're rebuilding that on our own social platform, Walkaway Social, and we need your help to do it. So, walkawaycampaign.com, please click donate. We're the hardest working activists in the business, and we need you. Walkawaycampaign.com, please donate. All right.
I feel Okay, there we go. Now that's a little bit better. I was just trying to figure out how to get it better. All right. Here we go. We'll take them out with Brandon's video. All right.
Because you can't build a wall high
go full screen, Libby.
A vaccine. The vaccine can stop
what
of these diseases.
Hold up.
On Earth. We won't stop.
Hold up.
What?
Build a wall high enough to...
I meant the other video, but
That's my voice. I wasn't talking, Libby. That was the video.
Oh, I was like, what? Sorry.
Will you start it from the beginning because I want them to get the full context. It's
because you can't build a wall high enough to keep out a vaccine. The vaccine can stop
what
of these diseases.
Hold up.
On Earth. We won't stop.
Hold up.
Because you can't build a wall high enough to keep out a vaccine. The vaccine can stop the spread.
She's like, shut the fuck up, asshole.
COVID-19. Time with one another.
I thought that was precious.
It is precious. But apparently, Nick was talking about a different video.
3-minute video with his interviews and walk away and all that.
Oh. Do you want to play
His
that?
what?
I think we should.
Okay. Libby, can you go on my Twitter again? Sorry. It's the video I posted where I said, talk about Walkways coming back. We're coming back. I just posted it last night.
The Fox,
I'll send you a link to it.
Thank you. That would be great. Y'all hang in there. It's a good video coming.
It's right here. Literally right next to the other one. Okay.
Okay, that's the one I'm on. I just wasn't sure that was it. Okay. Here we go.
So, wishing you all a really good night. Oh, good night. This has been Damian Jarrett for the Walkaway Super PAC. Walkaway Campaign PAC. Sorry. Nick Miles, Wave Nick, Libby Albert, Executive Director, and Brandon Straka. We're wishing you a good night. Here's our closing video.
There's a burgeoning new online movement billing itself as #Walkaway.
Please welcome to the show, Brandon Straka.
Brandon Straka.
Brandon Straka.
Brandon Straka. Brandon Straka.
You were a liberal for a long time. You voted for Hillary Clinton.
Yes.
Tell me what happened in Brandon's mind and heart, and you said, I don't want to be a liberal anymore.
After the election of Donald Trump, I was devastated. I really believed everything that the liberal media told me. I thought that CNN told the truth. I thought MSNBC told the truth. I thought Rachel Maddow told the truth.
So when Trump talks about fake news, you find that to be accurate?
Well, I didn't used to, but now it's yes, I know it's accurate.
Are you telling us on this show tonight that you are no longer a liberal?
As I sit here before you tonight, I am a registered Republican who loves Donald Trump.
I love it.
You spoke at a rally for the president, and
I did.
What was the reaction from Trump supporters?
It was incredible. It was an amazing rally. There were 18,000 people. There are 10,000 people surplus outside, and it was nothing but love. They need to keep these people thinking that he's a racist.
And isn't that what you're up against?
Perhaps it is, but I'm really not concerned about it. I mean, if they think they're going to come after me, they've got the wrong guy, because I don't quit. I don't give up.
What is your mission ultimately?
Particularly for minorities in America, racial minorities, LGBT people, I want them to become aware that the Democrat Party doesn't actually support them. They're actually using them, and they're actually manipulating their fears and concerns to get them to vote the way they want them to vote and behave the way they want them to behave.
Welcome to the revolution.
You closing us out, Lib?
That's it, folks. We will
Sweet.
see you next time.
Good night, everybody.